I mean, I think about it sometimes and I forget a little bit, and then I'm like, can't do anything about it right now. Don't worry about it. Keep it moving. So you can't worry about things. You can't really, you can't stress about it. Otherwise, you'll just be crying in a corner all the time.
Yeah.
I'll get it taken care of. That's the attitude I had to have. Because freshman year, I was like, oh God, no, I have not. I was going to that. This is ridiculous. And she was like, oh, shut up. You want to be a doctor? Just wait for it.
Yeah.
So, honestly, if I needed another loan, I'm like, what's $5,000 more? That's really bad. I'm like, I'm going to be a doctor. It's not.
You'll pay it off eventually. Yeah. Okay. I guess. How did you make friends?
Well, I joined, when you apply for housing, your first year, you have the opportunity to join living learning communities. And so there's a bunch of them. But I joined Women in Science and Engineering residence programs. So that's how I met initially, like my first group of friends. I mean, I had friends from the summer engineering programs that I joined, but we weren't living together, and so they weren't around as much. Plus, they had gone to high school here, so like I said, that was that whole issue. But I met a lot of friends once I decided to kind of break out of my shell. I met a lot of friends through the study groups in WISE, and I actually am still an RA for them, so I kind of have a heart for that program now.
Do you actually make friends in class? Like not
you can.
Really?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I guess sometimes in the introductory class it's a little harder because they're really big.
Mm-hmm.
But I made a couple friends like in some of my smaller classes, like upper level engineering classes where you only have maybe 40, 30 people. You get to know your classmates a little bit more. So you can make friends in class. But then another way is obviously joining student organizations. So I have WISE, but I also have SAPAC, which is the Sexual Assault Prevention and Awareness Center. A lot of acronyms. And then NSBE, which is the National Society of Black Engineers. So those are like my big organizations that I'm involved in. And yeah, you will make friends and be happy.
Okay. How did you adjust to dorm life? Like, do you talk to your roommate? Oh, well, you live in that house, don't you?
I don't live in a house.
Oh, you don't?
I'm still an RA.
Okay.
I'm not like a senior that's just not ready to live on her own. I'm an RA. I get paid. It's free, so there you go. I just enjoy life.
What does it take to become an RA?
You have to. Well, which question do you want me to
Did you add?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Oh, you add something about it.
She just said how did I just dorm life? Very easily actually.
Really?
I mean, you have your own. Well, I had a roommate, but we got along. We weren't like best friends, but we got along, and we ate lunch and dinner together sometimes. I think the biggest issue that freshmen have with dorm life is that they get a bad roommate. Like, I think usually freshmen love the dorm. They're like, I'm so happy to be away. What I see from a lot of my residents, the only reason that they would be upset is if they got a crappy roommate. They just didn't see eye to eye. Sometimes religions clash, or
don't you kind of like fill out a form to try and find people that are similar to you, or does this school not do that?
You can choose to room blind, or you can request a specific roommate.
Okay.
I guess I room blind because you really didn't have the choice to do that in WISE. But
so it's not really like a compatibility thing, like people who are like similar to you. Or...
There is a kind of form like that, like substance free. Do you want substance free housing? Do you want like gender neutral housing? And then but there's not. At least I don't think there was. From what I remember, like a noise.
Yeah, they say substance free.
Yeah, substance.
What's that?
Well, that's no substance, like no drugs, no alcohol. I mean,
they're saying that it's allowed, kind of.
But no, it's not though.
Oh.
So it's like okay, substance free.
Is it like alcohol?
Yeah, it's more for alcohol. Like,
so there's a place.
Narcotics are not allowed, period. But it technically is a substance. But all of those substances are banned.
Yeah.
But it's alcohol. So so I'm 22. If I live in substance-free housing, I still can't have alcohol in my room.
Oh.
But if I live in substance housing, then I can have alcohol in my room. But you still have to be 21.
Oh yeah.
It's
Okay.
not like,
that makes
I
sense.
live in substance housing. It's okay that I'm 18 and I have vodka.
Oh my
It's not
gosh.
okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Get way off topic with that question.
No. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you still want your answer?
What does it take to become a resident
Okay.
advisor?
So first, you fill out an application. They ask you for 2 essays. One is like what diversity is to you, because Michigan is big on their diversity.
Mm-hmm.
One is like, what diversity means to you and like how you try to incorporate it into your life and such. They might change the topic. And then the other one, you have to shadow an RA or whatever res staff position that you are applying for. So you can be a PAS, a peer academic success specialist, or you can be a DPE, a diversity peer educator, or you can be a CA, community assistant, or you can be an RA, resident advisor. So you have to shadow one of those people, whichever one is the one that you want to apply for. And then you have to write an essay about your shadowing experience, like how it inspired you and like what you want to do when you become whatever that position is. Then if they like your essay, then you move on to the next round. So some people get dropped out. And then if you move on to the next round, then you have an interview with like a member of the leadership team. So they could be like a hall director and one of the community center managers, or someone who's like higher up in the housing department. And then if they like your interview, then bam, you have a position, or you're on the wait list. Yeah. And then if you want to be an RA for an MLC, a Michigan Learning Community, like I am for WISE, then you have another interview with the directors for that program.
This is kind of 2 questions in one. Like, how did you balance free time and studying? And like, when you did study, was it like easy to ask your professors for help and stuff?
Balancing free time and studying, by the way, it's 5, so you have to get on.
Okay.
Balancing free time and studying. I'm one of those people, I like to get everything out of the way before I have my fun. So, just because I don't want to have to worry about it. So like, when it's the weekend, I like to get all my stuff done. If I have assignments, I like to get them done Friday night, so I can, which sounds
reward
lame, but
yourself later.
No, yeah, I do the same thing.
but I like to get it out of the way so
Yeah.
I have the whole weekend. I can sleep as much as I want.
No worries.
I can go out if I want to. So I like to get my assignments out of the way first. Reward myself like, hey, you did that problem set. Good job. Have fun. And then, save my studying. Like you can do studying in like chunks. So I like to do it like a couple hours a day for each subject. They say like, isn't it like there were like 2 hours for every credit hour that a class is, something like that. Give or take. You know which classes you can just study more for, which ones you don't. Because I surely did not adhere to that. It's supposed to be like 2 hours for every credit hour that a class is. But like,
it's not possible. Right?
I mean, sometimes
Yeah.
it just isn't, and sometimes I'm just not going to for certain classes.
Yeah.
So I guess study groups were a good way for me to study, but then I also needed to do the material before I went to my study groups, just so I could contribute something to the discussion, because they will call you out, like, oh, you haven't said anything.
Yeah.
Do you know number 2? And you're like, I was hoping to just get answers from you guys, but no. So I would say if you're going to do study groups, try to go through the problems that you're going to discuss on your own first, or at least have read the material. Asking your professors sometimes can be hit or miss depending on who the professor is. If they're like one of those professors who loves to teach and stuff, they'll have like a lot of office hours. Sometimes professors will have 1 hour a week, and then everyone is jammed in their little office trying to ask 15 different questions. So you might have to email them or make an outside appointment. Or sometimes they'll have graduate student instructors that you can go to. You can make appointments with them. They have office hours. Oh, yeah, GSI is graduate instructor. It's kind of like your TA, but they're like, I'm not an assistant. I'm an instructor. So